We're looking at local biotic communities in Nigeria, or you can call them local biomes in Nigeria. Remember, we said that the biotic community are naturally occurring organisms that function together and how they also relate with their environment. And we said that the biome is actually the largest community of organisms you can find. All right. So we're looking at, in Nigeria, we're looking at the biotic communities we have. Now, the biotic communities in Nigeria is divided into two main parts or zones. We have what we call the forest zone, and then we have also what we call savanna zone. Forest zone and savanna zone. Now let's take a look at what the forest zone is all about. Now this forest zone is divided also into two main biotic communities. But before we go into the two main biotic communities where you can, or zones, where you can find the forest zone, note that the forest zone comprises of vegetation with trees. That's what makes up the forest zone. Mostly vegetation with trees, all right? Now we have two types of forest zones. We have the mangrove swamp forest zone, and then we have the tropical rainforest zone. I repeat, we have the mangrove swamp forest zone, and then we have the tropical rainforest zone. Now let's take a look at the mangrove swamp forest zone. As you can see, the mangrove swamp forest zone, they have several characteristics which we will be looking at shortly, but I want you to understand areas you can, mangrove swamp forest can be located or found in Nigeria. Now you can see that in Cross River State, you can see it in Akwa Ibom, you can see it in Bayelsa, you can also see it in Rivers State, you can see it in Ogun State, you can also see it in Lagos State. I mean, these are areas where you can locate mangrove swamp forests. Mangrove swamp forest. Now, what are some of the characteristics that makes up a mangrove swamp forest, or you can call them features of mangrove swamp forest? Number one is that its water, or the water, because these are plants that are actually situated close to the water areas. All right. Now, the waters in these particular areas is simply a combination of fresh and salt water. An example is the brackish waters. Okay, we have the estuarine. The estuarine brackish or brackish are simply types, or you can say it is a form or another name for mangrove swamp forest. Or mangrove swamp forest. There is a combination, the water, there is a combination of both fresh and then salt